The proposal from the European Commission for a new programme to replace the media programme was adopted at the end of November last year, and it's currently being discussed in the European institutions. Similar to a national parliament, we have a Council of Ministers and a European Parliament, and they are currently discussing both the content of the proposal and the budget. I think we'll see some shifts in focus, but media has constantly adapted over the last 21 years to changes in the market, to changes in technology, to changes in economic models. We accept already the VPF in our current financing schemes, and we'll be looking to adapt the programme rather than to have a revolution. The process is quite complicated because there are two big discussions going on. One is in general on what we call, I'm afraid it's terrible European slang, the multi-annual financial framework. That is, in simple terms, the spending plan for Europe for the 7 years from 2014 to 2020. And the discussions on the budget for Creative Europe can't really be completed until we know what budget the European Union will have for those 7 years. So once that is established, we hope by the end of this year, it will be possible to finalise all the different specific programmes like Creative Europe or Horizon 2020, which is the big research programme. He's hoping it's by the middle of next year, but the plan is to get things adopted by March of next year. I think we need to put things in context, and I think the context of Creative Europe is digitization and globalization, and we have to see what the programme can do to meet these challenges, in particular in the smaller member states, where if I look at the situation for digital cinema, it's very alarming. Single-screen cinemas that for the most part simply aren't digitized, cinemas that won't be able to actually show European content in the very near future. So with media we are very much committed to continuing our positive weighting for these countries, to try and help them as much as possible within the limits of our budget to meet these challenges, and in particular not to direct our support to them, but to use that support to bring them into the bigger European market. Because the future's in networks, the future is in using social media, the future is in harnessing new business models. And that's how we're going to help not only the newer member states and the smaller member states, but even innovative producers and distributors in and across Europe. Well, I would say let's look at the projects we're actually supporting. For example, if I look at Ion Film under Media Mundus or under the Milky Way, if I look at some of the video-on-demand projects, we've got a lot of ideas and we hope to leave the programme open to them. We've carried out a study that will soon be published on new business models that takes 5 case studies, and the link will be on our website very soon. And we're also looking on a larger scale at what audiences want. How do audiences want to interact with film? And that study will kick off in probably October of this year and will help finalise the guidelines for Creative Europe. One of the extremely innovative approaches under Creative Europe is that for the first time we're introducing a full-scale financial instrument. This instrument, I think, is going to be extremely helpful across Europe in terms of bringing an easier and cheaper access to financing to the very small operators that exist. We're working together at the moment with the European Investment Fund and with banks in many countries to come up with a convincing scheme to harness private banking and to make it more accessible to these very small producers and distributors. And how are we doing that? We're doing that by offering a zero guarantee for the banks. We don't give the banks money, but we underwrite the loans up to probably 70%. And we think that this will be an encouragement for banks to be more active in the sector.